With the Kardashians, a very telling episode came out that highlighted Kanye going out of his way to retrieve something that was very important to Kim. Now, if you haven't been keeping up, Kanye's been off the rails with his social media antics.
I'm crazy, but what y'all gonna do about it?
He even got himself suspended for 24 hours from Instagram, but this seems to have showed a different side of Kanye. This is when he was off of social media altogether. This is when he was willingly flying coach by himself without security all over the country, seemingly acting like a rather normal person. But is it possible that what happened immediately after Kanye retrieving this item for Kim caused him to go off the rails? And is there a deeper biblical principle that can be extracted from this entire situation?
Ruslan.
On one of the biggest records that Kanye and Jay-Z have ever put out called Click, Kanye rapped, "My girl is famous off a home movie." He was referring to the thing that catapulted Kim Kardashian to stardom, which was a home movie she put out with Ray J. Well, it seems that there was additional versions of this, and Ray J said that it may be capped. But I wanted to highlight this and something that I think we could all extract from this entire situation as a lesson of sorts. Some of you guys are gonna be here and say, well, what are you doing covering Kanye? Well, listen, in 2019, Kanye put out an album called Jesus is King. I went to a couple of those Sunday services. There was quite a few pastors at the time, credible pastors, attesting to the fact that he was genuine in his profession at the time. The most notable that I would recommend you guys, before you jump into the comments section and say, how dare you co-sign Kanye, go look up Pastor Adam Tyson's interview with Apologia Studios regarding Kanye coming to faith. We're not going to unpack all of that here. I do think that Kanye had some sort of experience with God, and this may have been one of the things that caused him to lose faith and kind of veer off his Christian journey of sorts. Around this time when this was filmed, he wasn't on social media. He was traveling around the country by himself with no security, flying coach, and he was seemingly doing well. And then after this, Donda came out, and then after Donda, we had all of the shenanigans that got him essentially removed from Instagram. And since then, he's been off social media. Since then, he's been working on his mental health. Since then, he seems like he's in a much better place. That'll potentially give context to how this may have caused Kanye to really unravel, and then a passage. So just make sure you watch till the end. If you're watching this, you're finding value from it, smash that like button. It's one of the best ways you can shoot this video up the algorithm. All right. Ye flew from New York to LA, back to New York overnight to get the remaining unreleased footage of Kim's. At this point, him and Kim are separated. They're not divorced. They are not officially divorced, but they are separated. And this is the night she went on SNL. Okay, this is a key night from Ray J, and give it to her before SNL. So that's Chris, Kim's mom, and she's saying, I haven't seen you in forever.
I just came from the airport.
Oh.
This is my traveling coach vibes.
I like your traveling coach vibes. Wait, did you just get here? I thought you were already here. In New York.
Well, I had to go to LA and come back.
Oh.
So I just traveled to get something for Kim.
You went all the way to LA to get something for Kim?
Mm-hmm.
You were something else. What did you get?
Well, that's what she wants to show you.
Oh.
She's like, you're something else. Like he went and got her like her favorite like box of chocolates or something from Hollywood. Like, no, not quite, Chris.
Kim?
Hey guys.
Hi.
Girl. I wanted to show you guys.
Yeah?
Because I was just gonna cry, so I didn't want to. But I can cry, so I definitely can cry. So Kanye flew.
So she tells him what it is. I'll tell you what I think Ray J really called cap on in this situation.
Last night. Gorgeous guy.
They're like, yo, I don't know if they're really this shocked in their facial expressions or if this is just because it's a reality TV show. I have no idea.
Oh my God.
I want to show you guys what he got me. He got me all of the sex tape back. It's on the hard drive.
The CCM worship instrumental in the background.
I went with Ray J at the airport and got it all back for me.
Oh, Kim.
So he meets Ray J at the airport and gets it all back. She shows a hard drive here. There was a more explicit version of the home movie that got Kim popping, okay?
That's amazing.
I know Kanye did this for me, but he also did this for my kids. I want to shield them from as much as I can. And if I had the power to, or if Kanye has the power to, like that is just the most important thing to me. And I'm just like so emotional because of it.
Oh my God. Thank you for Kanye and for his unbelievable way he does things and the ability to get something done. And
Amen.
probably a big, fat, huge check, so we're all very grateful.
Oh, definitely not no check. We're not getting extorted ever again.
Kanye said, definitely not on check. He did not pay for this. He said, we're never getting extorted again. Now, Kanye himself has been extorted by a cousin for a similar situation. We don't need to get into all that. So again, this is going somewhere. Just keep watching. I promise you this is going somewhere. The interesting part here is Kanye's temperament, Kanye's body language. Kanye just seems like he's in a much different space here.
No. No way. That was
such
amazing.
an awesome thing you did.
Well, you also knew how much it meant to her and how hard she's been trying to do that for years and years.
I watched it. It was just footage of us at a restaurant, at a nightclub, nothing sexual, nothing weird. And so now I can take a deep breath and not worry about this right before SNL, right before the bar, right before like everything.
Well, I'm so happy. Thank you for doing that.
Like, how good is God that this happened like right?
How good is God that this happened like right here at this time? Interesting, Kanye is always giving praise to God.
Here at this time.
Well, you can negotiate my next deal. How about that?
Can we just really quick say a quick prayer for you today?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they hold hands and they pray. So this is months ago. But what happens next in this sequence, 5 hours later, Kim goes on SNL and kisses Pete Davidson. This is before their relationship was fully public. Remember, Kanye is trying to win her back. At that Donda listening party, he has her come out in a wedding dress, right, in Chicago. So he's trying to win her back. Ooh, and then that happens. And then listen to what Kanye says in this interview.
You know, how you gonna bring me to SNL and kiss the dude you dating right in front of me? And everybody's like, oh, that's cool. After I went and got the laptop from Ray J myself that night, right? And then got on a red eye. I met this man at the airport, then got on a red eye, came back, delivered it to her at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then I gave it to her and she cried when she saw it. You know why she cried when she seen her laptop? Because it represents how much she's been used. It represents how much people didn't love her and they just saw her as a commodity.
Some say that her and Ray J signed off on this thing to come up. This is the thing that got her popping initially. I don't know any of the particulars. Kanye is jumping on a red eye, scooping this up, grabbing the footage, bringing it back to her. She's saying that there was nothing on the footage itself. Ray J called cap. I think what Ray J called cap on and said it was a lie was that I think there was an alternate version of this home movie. And she then goes on and kisses Pete Davidson on SNL in front of the whole world to see. And then remember the same Pete Davidson who was with Kanye like 2 years ago at a Thanksgiving dinner. So these folks are all intertwined, right? And so Kanye is noticeably hurt after this. And I think this is where he just kind of unravels and you see the super villain Kanye, if you will, come out. Is this one of the things, if not the main thing, that set him on this trajectory of sorts, where he was doing his best to maintain? They're doing, music, Jesus is King. He's trying his best to maintain this thing. He's trying to reconcile with his wife. He's doing everything he can to win her back. And then that happens. Now, I have a passage for you guys that I think is relevant to this, that I think you'll glean some value from. And before we get into that, guys, make sure you're subscribed with the bell notification on. We've been getting some reports that YouTube may be shadow banning me. I don't know if that's true, but at the very least, hit that subscribe button. Make sure the bell notification's on so you don't miss anything. Okay, so here is a passage that I think actually completely glues together the heart behind this, that I think many of us, if in a similar situation, would hopefully as men do the similar act that he did. 1 Peter 4, verse 4. They are surprised that you do not join them in their reckless, wild living, and they heap abuse on you. So who's they? They are the folks in the world. But they will have to give an account to him who is ready to judge the living and the dead. For this is the reason the gospel was preached, even to those who are now dead, so that they might be judged according to human standards in regard to the body, but live according to God in regard to the spirit. And I think here what Peter's alluding to is spiritually dead, right? The gospel was preached, so the folks who are spiritually dead, they can have a pathway to Jesus and this good news we have. Now check this out. The end of all things is near, therefore be alert and of sober mind, so that you may pray. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. This verse right here, verse 8, I think is what Kanye was attempting to do to the mom of his kids, right? With his wife, ex-wife, wife he was hoping to reconcile with. I think what Kanye is attempting to do here is to cover her sin. I think Kanye is understanding that historically, whether she signed off on that or not, whether at one point he celebrated it in a lyric talking about my girl got famous off a home movie, that now as a mother, which a lot of these things change when you become a parent. The things that you're willing to do for money change because you know that stuff could be dug up, which actually happened with Saint finding this out, kind of setting this whole thing in sequence. And so I think what Kanye's attempting to do is he's attempting to love her well by covering a multitude of sins. Right? And then it goes on to say, offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have, whatever influence you have to serve one another as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. And so whether or not Kanye is solid with Jesus right now, I don't know. I'm praying for him. I'm hoping he does well. I think he's exhibiting something that he didn't get enough credit for, which is he went out of his way to try and cover the sins associated with someone near and dear to him. And I think the question for many of us is when folks in our lives, as Galatians 6 says that, hey, when you find somebody, a brother or sister in sin, make sure you come to them and you correct them gently. Are we always in a hurry to try and dunk on somebody, to give them a I told you so, to show them how stupid they are, to show them how many mistakes they made? See, your decisions from back then are catching up from you. Look how dumb you were, blah, 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 blah. Your family, you're this. Or are we willing to cover our loved ones' sins? Are we willing to go and beyond protecting those that we love without throwing it in their face? And I honestly here feel for Kanye. I think that's what he was trying to do. I think he was genuinely trying to cover her sins, right? She goes on to, now have this entire situation with Pete, images of Pete riding with Kanye's kids in his lap, that potentially the paparazzi got called for taking those. It's like a whole mess of a situation. This is a lot of what we could expect from folks in Hollywood. And I think Kanye, though, from everything I've experienced, from everything I've seen at Sunday service, from a lot of what I didn't see at Sunday service, which is Kanye not being the center of attention, Kanye not being I've been to a couple Kanye shows, and he definitely was not the center of Sunday service. He definitely did everything he could to make Jesus the center of those Sunday services, to the point where a lot of times you didn't even know where he was in the choir arrangement. I think he was genuinely having an experience and is genuinely trying to reconcile his faith in God with this wild life that he's been living for the past 20 years. And I think that could be very difficult. So anyway, I really do want to hear from you guys, man. Do you think that he's living out this passage of attempting to cover a multitude of sins? I want to hear from you guys. Or is Kanye on some toxic masculinity, just stepping in and involving himself in stuff that got nothing to do with him? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And if you guys want to hear a story about how some unexpected people in Hollywood came to the defense of Chris Pratt's faith and politically incorrect views, be sure to check this video out here. All right? Peace.